Instagram has completely screwed over the photography community. You know, in 2010, they built this really cool iPhone app, and it allowed photographers to finally connect to new people. You could discover amazing talent, and it appealed to like the younger generation who didn't have fancy cameras. Instagram built up this amazing community and then just completely sold us all out. I want to talk about it.
I want to talk about it too, because usually we each take different sides of an argument, but we're both mad about this one. I don't think Instagram cares about the community they built at all. I think they make sharing your photos harder than ever now, and I'm sure that a lot of you have noticed that. But before we talk about it, let's talk about a place where you can very easily share your photos. You have total control, the image quality is great, and they're presented in the way that you want your audience to see them, and that's a Squarespace portfolio. We both have them. They're really easy to use, and it's not all about trends. It's not about scrolling. It's not going to be interrupted by ads or reels. It's just your photos front and center, your contact information, and a great place for you to send your clients. So get a Squarespace website. It's really easy, and you can try it for free for 14 days at squarespace.com/Chelsea. Use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. That's CHELSEA, like the football club.
Okay, let's back up and talk a little bit about the history. In 2010, a couple of developers with a pretty small budget, about $500,000, built this iPhone app that took square pictures, 640 pixels wide, 640 pixels high. That was the exact width of the iPhone screen.
That was controversial though. We were doing the live show and people were complaining about Instagram because they didn't want to limit their photos to a square format. So I think they actually got off on the wrong foot with photographers from the get-go.
They did, and I personally was frustrated with it, but they weren't trying to appeal to the old guard, all of us with our fancy cameras who had decades of experience. It was actually the opposite, for better or worse. They also did not allow you to upload stuff from a computer, even though that would have been super easy.
Yeah.
They wanted to make it harder, like deliberately. They put it in their terms of service that you couldn't use a computer, that you had to use their app. They wanted this to be for people doing smartphone photography only.
Yeah, and it wasn't for people like us because we were all on Flickr, 500px, a bunch of other photo sharing sites where we actually had really high quality images in any aspect ratio we wanted. So initially making that move to Instagram was kind of uncomfortable for photographers.
But it was so popular that it grew incredibly fast. They introduced things like hashtags, where you could just add a hashtag to a picture and you'd basically enter a community. So I would take a picture of a robin and I hashtag bird photography, hashtag birds on Instagram, hashtag robin. And now people who are interested in bird photography could find my page and like me and see other bird pictures. That was something, technically it might have happened on Flickr of 500 pics, but it just didn't work that quickly or that well.
We even had our own hashtag. We still do, stunners on Insta. It just got taken over by porn or something.
Yeah.
So the system isn't perfect.
There are some flaws with the system.
Yeah.
So it became so popular that it quickly became the #1 place for photographers to share their work. And in fact, it changed how we shoot. I started having to think square instead of 4x5 wide, which is what I would normally shoot for displaying on computer monitors, which had been the style. It completely changed all of our composition and rapidly destroyed the existing photography communities like Flickr and 500 pics as people just stopped putting their energy into them.
Yeah, and it wasn't only that. I mean, the aspect ratio was different, but it was also changing style because now we were getting these influencers that were coming on and it was like simulating life. There were a lot of pictures where it was just people curating a fake life, and that became the trend on Instagram. And that's what became popular. Remember the photo where like someone would look back traveling and they'd be holding your hand? And then we see like Instagrammers in the wild now where we see it was just all this sham. It was a facade. It's fake.
It was so valuable that Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg came along and bought it for $1 billion. But Facebook at the time was one of the biggest software development companies on the entire planet. It wasn't the code that they were buying. They were buying us. They were buying the photography community for $1 billion, but we didn't get that money. A couple of developers did.
Yeah. Yeah, just when you think Instagram can't get worse, Facebook buys it. And we saw what happened on Facebook. I know so many of you probably experienced the same thing. We built an entire fan page there with like over 100,000 likes, and then all of a sudden Facebook was making us pay for our existing audience to see the content they already agreed to want to see by liking the page.
Yeah, that they wanted to see. The same with Instagram. I have like 150,000 followers or something on Instagram, but it's very hard to reach people, even though they want to see my work. Instagram wants me to pay now.
Yeah, because the Facebook model is to go to the shareholders, which is what they actually care about, and say, this is how we're going to make more money for the next quarter or for the next year. We're going to let people build these huge communities, and then we're going to charge them to make people see their stuff. And that's exactly what started happening. Like every time I post something on Instagram, it's like, do you want to promote it? Really, my story about my breakfast, do you want me to pay to promote that? Like, garbage. I'm mad.
So Zuck buys it in like 2012, and then what happens next? Snapchat launches about that same year. Snapchat's a little bit different. They mostly video-oriented, short-term stuff, and vertical format as opposed to square. And so what does Zuckerberg do? Does he try to respect this platform he's built and nurture this community who has changed how they do things, specifically around these sort of interesting and arbitrary limitations? No. He just tosses it. And he's like, Snapchat's making money. I want some of their money.
Yeah.
So he now tried to make Instagram Snapchat, and they added stories. And they added these vertical pictures, which now don't fit into the grids that we had all been very carefully cultivating.
Do you remember how important the grid was, where people would actually curate it so that everything was lined up and you had to have a color scheme? I remember entire tutorials where they were like, don't have a not matching color scheme on your grid. And people spent hours and hours trying to perfect this thing that was just going to be pulled away from them.
I didn't even mind that crazy change because it did make me think a little bit differently. It made me start to think about developing a style rather than trying to create this one picture that was going to get a whole bunch of attention. Mm-hmm. We're coming out of like the HDR era where you had to have like this one stellar picture that was really, really eye-catching so people would see it in your 500 pics feed and follow you after that. But Instagram just completely changed that. But then bam, because of Snapchat, they just arbitrarily changed it again. Like, oh, maybe we can just milk this photography community for a few more dollars if we make it like Snapchat. But now that they have this new feature, they want people to use it, right? So they start favoring people's stories and vertical videos over the regular square stuff. So now you see these people who had built up often a photography business around their Instagram fans because they're making money. They're going from photographers to becoming influencers where their job is taking pictures, but also they have a sponsorship from a van company or a tripod company.
Oh gosh,
or they're
van life.
selling presets or something. But they have built a business and a way of life around this existing structure, and they were probably hoping for some sort of stability, as you might when you build a job, right?
Yeah.
Except they made the mistake of building a job trusting another corporation to cultivate it and not just pull the carpet out from under their feet.
Yeah, but that's a part of it. I mean, being on YouTube, it's changed so much over the years, but I have more respect for YouTube because they've always paid the content creators and there's at least been some stability. It has somewhat stayed true. They've tried new things, but like the longer format videos are still their main thing.
Yeah.
Instagram has changed so much, and they're like the fact that they make you pay for people to see your stuff. That's never happened on YouTube.
No.
So I just think that it's robbed people of just even a little bit of stability to be able to continue making a living there. We don't make a living there, so I don't feel as passionately about that part. I don't connect to it as much, but I feel for people that do.
Yeah, I didn't personally lose, but I am upset for the people I've talked to who have had everything changed. They went from being able to pay their bills to not being able to pay their bills. And that is one of the most devastating things that can happen in your life. And it was done first because Snapchat came along and they decided to compete rather than sticking with the community that they actually built up. Because he didn't care about the community. He just bought it.
Yeah.
And things got even worse once TikTok came around.
Yeah, but I think before we should get into that, we should just talk about Squarespace one more time because aside from the fact that it's really easy to make a Squarespace and it's consistent and you can always send your clients there and look professional, it also handles everything from start to finish with your business. So you can take reservations if you're a restaurant, but as a photographer, I really appreciate that I can put my clients' pictures there in a password protected page, because not everyone's really tech savvy. So if I send someone their whole set of photos from their shoot in Google Drive or something, they usually come back to me with a question like, how do I download this or how do I do that? With Squarespace, you just send them to the password protected page and they can see everything there and they don't have to be tech savvy. It makes the whole process really easy. So if you want to try it just for people to see your pictures, for fun, for your art, for your restaurant, for your doctor's office, whatever it is, try it for free. Squarespace.com/Chelsea for 14 days. You do not have to remember to cancel. It's not a trick like that. It's easy. If you don't want it, it goes away. If you do want it, you can get 10% off with the coupon code Chelsea. That's CHELSEA. Thank you, Squarespace.
Yeah, I like Squarespace because they sell websites. That's a straightforward relationship.
Yeah.
Instagram, they're selling us. We're the product that they're selling. They are not serving us.
Yeah, but it's not even straightforward. The fact that they let you amass a following and then they start charging you to make people see your content is what bothers me.
After you've put so many hundreds of hours, weeks, months, years of work into something, they're like, oh, we can now sell this. Thanks for giving us that.
Thank you for building us.
All this work that you put into it, that's actually ours. Did you read the EULA?
Yeah, it is there. So all of the stuff that you built becomes theirs, and I think that's really frustrating. It's a lack of respect for me. I know it's a corporation and you can't really trust them, but come on, have a little bit of self-respect. Don't just treat the people on your platform like crap. And I think that's a big reason why most people are just jumping ship and going to TikTok, because it's new, and every new platform at first is better until they start trying to make money from the creators.
Okay, so tell me about TikTok, because I'm like an old guy with an 18-year-old girl who I see scrolling TikTok all the time.
I'm on TikTok all the time. It's way smarter than Instagram, to the point where it's terrifying. The algorithm is so much smarter. You see what you want to see. But it's also a lot freer. So Instagram became all about being perfectly curated to the point where it was so phony and fake. It was sickening. Aren't you? I think we're all sick of that. Just fake, fake, fake. And then TikTok became a place where people would go on and show off their imperfections and show off that they're not rich, not their house isn't perfect, they're just doing a dance in their pajamas, or they're not wearing makeup. It became an authentic place, which isn't even real there anymore. It's already changing. But I think that people just got really tired of the phoniness of Instagram. And now Instagram, if you look at your reels, it's just they all have the TikTok stamp.
Instagram has just became TikTok. Zuckerberg saw TikTok making money and he's like, I want all the money.
Yeah.
Thus now Instagram, forget the photography community, now it's just TikTok. It's just TikTok. And I pretty much only follow photographers in my feed. Photographers and a handful of personal friends. And when I scroll through, I see mostly videos. I see very few actual pictures. I see a lot of behind the scenes videos. You know, they'll be like Manny. Our T's will be there, like behind the scenes doing some kind of shot. But do I actually see his photo? I think I see more behind the scenes than I do actual photos. It's just not a community for photography anymore.
Yeah, I saw like a really amazing photographer I follow that has like 500,000 followers, and they're legit. I know the person, and they'll get like 500 likes on a photo.
Well,
on an amazing photo, too.
They're legit, right? They're
Yeah.
just concentrating on taking photos. They're not thinking about how to market themselves. And that's what it has become. If you want to succeed, it's not just about creating pictures anymore.
Yeah, it has shifted to the point where I don't really go on there that much anymore.
No, I will share a bird picture every now and then, but I used to really craft things for Instagram, and now I'm not getting anything out of it, you know,
Yeah.
because if you want to get anything out of it, you really have to be paying for stuff, and it's not a good form of advertising for our business. We've experimented with it.
I mean, we might want to, though, because I did post a picture or two, and someone was like, oh, I'm glad you're shooting again. And I was just thinking, like, does it look like I'm not shooting? Because I've done a ton of shoots. I just don't share here because
Yeah,
get,
because
like,
Instagram kind of sucks.
it sucks. I get like 2,000 likes or like 3,000, where I used to get like 10 or 12,000. So I'm like,
But where else are you going to go? Like, maybe people out there know, like, what is a good current photography community where you can sort of create art of different types, share it, have new people discover you, discover new photographers, discover new talent? Does something like that exist to take up the space that Instagram left in void?
Should we all go back to Flickr?
Maybe we should just en masse go to Flickr again. Does Flickr exist anymore?
Oh, I don't know, but there was one that I was using for a while that I really liked, and now I can't, the name escapes me, but it was more artsy, so I would share my weird artistic photography does not do well. It never did well on my Instagram because people are coming there from our highly technical YouTube, and like they'd always be like, whoa, what does this mean? I'd be like, uh-oh, this is not for you. So I started going on this really artsy place, and that was more satisfying to go where my mind was appreciated a little more. So I think maybe it's just that we end up in our own little niche corners. I think that one of the answers for how to have a little more stability is to just stay within a community, because even Facebook, which is pretty much dead, like we still have our photo community there, the private one for our book, and people are still sharing photos and commenting, and it's still extremely photocentric.
Yeah.
And it's a big group. It's like, I don't know, like maybe 70 to 100,000 people. I don't remember anymore, but it's consistently stayed the same. It's just purely photography. So I think you have to find your community within any app. And even on TikTok, there are people that just post photos and talk about taking photos. So you can find it on TikTok. If you want to see me completely humbled, you can find my TikTok, because I don't really know how to do it and I've had zero success there.
Yeah, and we have a TikTok together too, where we tried posting some
I forgot about
educational things, and yeah, we kind of forgot.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that it's always going to be shifting. I don't think any platform is ever going to be true to the people on it. And I don't think they're going to stay stable. So that's just a part of it. Kind of like our last podcast, like things just keep moving and we have to choose if we're going to try to keep up or give up. Keep up or give up. I don't know. I'm wondering that about Instagram sometimes when I'm on there. Just like, this is a bummer. And then they offer to pay me. They're like, sign up and we'll pay you for your reels. It's like 2 cents. Like, you want me to put in the work?
Every time I log in, they show a little present there, and they want me to like now dedicate my time into making video content for them instead of the YouTube, which has been paying me for a decade.
Yeah, well, maybe it's worth it to someone that can't get in on YouTube or is just starting. Maybe that's an opportunity, but it just seems insulting when they take away your audience and then they're like, want $1?
Well, fool me once, right? Like, I am not going to invest any time or money.
Yeah, because you're just into crypto now.
No,
he's not.
I'm not into crypto.
Yeah, Pixel. True. So how do you feel about it? Has your Instagram gotten more difficult? Are you doing just fine? And us pros are just little babies? Like, what's going on? Let us know.
My Instagram has come and gone, but my portfolio, northropphotography.com, has stayed. It has always been exactly what I wanted it to be. I control all of the images. There are no ads. It loads really fast. It works great on desktops, on mobile. I can choose any aspect ratio I want. I can mix stills and video. I can talk about myself because it's my own website. And you know what? I pay for it. If you don't pay for your web presence, that means they can just take it away from you, like Instagram.
Or they take away the image quality, where I put all this time into having the sharpest photo, post it on Instagram, and someone goes, it's not sharp. I'm like, oh yeah, because I have like a 4K monitor zoomed into 300% that says, otherwise Gary from Illinois. I'm sorry. But that doesn't happen on Squarespace. It looks good.
Gary is shook right now.
There's not really a Gary, I'm just...
Okay, so set up your own proper website. You can just try it out for free. Squarespace.com/Chelsea. Make a portfolio. Show off your work, stills, or video. And after the trial, if you love it, the coupon code Chelsea, CHELSEA, will get you 10% off. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring us. And thanks for creating a place for photographers to show off their work without having to sell it to Zuckerberg.
Thank you for watching. If you want to see more podcasts like this, we have a playlist on YouTube where you can see every podcast we've ever made for the past, how long has it been, Tony? Like 6, 7 years? I don't even remember. Or you can go on your phone to your podcasting app and you can find the Picture This Photography podcast there. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. I already know somebody's going to quote The Simpsons, old man yelling at clouds.
I saw that in the last one.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Old man yells at
clouds.
clouds.
Same joke.
That's how I feel.